Mortgage rates are at a 20-year high, but is it still a good time to buy or sell a home in one of the nation's hottest real estate markets? I'm Alice Warnerowski with the W Real Estate Group in Raleigh, North Carolina. And this video will take a look at how Raleigh's market is performing amidst the rising interest rates. At the end, I'll give my advice to prospective buyers and sellers based on these numbers and my recent experiences. The number of home sales are down across the country, as the rising mortgage rates have decreased demand. The greater Raleigh area still has one of the hottest real estate markets in the country, but that has not saved it from seeing similar trends as well. You'll notice right off the bat that the number of sales in the Triangle is down 20% when compared to last year at this time, with the total inventory down 15% as well. Going into the fall, we usually see a dip in sales when compared to the summer, but this is a pretty major decrease when compared to 2022. And with new listings also decreasing by 11% when compared to last year, the inventory for this fall and winter will be much lower than last year. So bottom line here, with demand decrease from mortgage rates as buyers are holding off in hopes of a 2024 decline, supply is also on the decline, as there are more sellers choosing to also wait out the interest rates when possible. This decrease in demand has led to fewer multiple offer situations, as you'll see that sellers are receiving slightly less than full asking price. And I've experienced much more negotiation on home repairs and appraisals than any time in the past 2 years. Sellers are also seeing their homes stay on the market for longer than years past, but there's not quite as much of a difference between this year and last year than I would have thought. And surprisingly enough, despite these higher interest rates, average sales prices continue to rise, up 2.6% since last year at this time. Although, as expected through typical seasonal changes, the average sales price has decreased slightly in comparison to last month. That's a brief summary of how the Triangle market has performed. But here are my projections for this fall and upcoming winter. As with every fall and winter, inventory declines. But given what we've seen so far, inventory will be much lower than a typical winter, and with demand down, that will ultimately lead to a lower number of homes sold overall. The number of days a home sits on the market before going under contract has not significantly increased since last year at this time, but it will likely go into the 30s by this winter. The market will become more of a buyer's market over the next few months, as we will continue to see the final sales price below the original asking price. But I don't believe we will see a significant decline from the 98% that we are currently showing, as the Triangle housing market is still hot when compared to the rest of the country. And with the decreased demand and higher days on market, you will see sellers continue the trend of a growing willingness to negotiate on repairs and appraisals. For overall prices, they will drop in comparison to the summer months, which happens every year, but they will be roughly 2 to 3% higher than last year, as we typically expect. So prices are increasing across the Triangle, but at a rate much closer to what we have historically seen, even despite the high interest rates. So that really speaks to the Triangle's housing market's ability to weather the storm of economic hardship, as demand for the overall area still remains strong in comparison to the rest of the country. Based on these predictions, here's my advice for buyers and sellers. Buyers, despite the high interest rates, this is actually a pretty good time to buy a house if you are able to afford the mortgage at these rates. Hear me out. There are so many prospective buyers sitting on the sidelines right now, just waiting for the spring market in hopes that interest rates will decline, which has led to the decreased demand. With fewer buyers out there looking, that has led to homes sitting on the market longer, and with the exception of some of the hottest areas in Raleigh, Cary, and Apex, we are seeing very few multiple offer situations. And like I've mentioned, sellers are now more willing to negotiate on home repairs and appraisals. So while homes are still selling relatively quickly overall, we are closer to a buyer's market than we've been in a very long time. Overall, home prices will also go down slightly for the fall and winter, as they typically do. So with all of these factors combined, you will very likely be getting a house at a much lower out-the-door cost when compared to spring and summer of 2024. And if you do choose to wait until the spring, make sure you do your research now and be prepared to act, as competition will be high if the interest rates do end up dropping. Now, the elephant in the room is on the mortgage rate situation. No one has a crystal ball. And while interest rates could still increase before year's end, many economists have predicted rates to fall back into the sixes by the end of 2024 and even lower in 2025. So if you purchase now, make sure you're comfortable with the payment, but be ready to refinance when the rates go down to lower your payment. Also, many new construction communities are offering various incentives or rate buydowns to attract buyers. So there are plenty of opportunities within the new homes. Now to the prospective sellers, and my advice is mixed. If you have an updated home in good condition in the more popular locations in Raleigh, Cary, and Apex, now is still a good time to sell as competition has remained high with homes seeing multiple offers. And the best homes of Wake Forest and Holly Springs are experiencing this as well. There are fewer negotiations for these homes, and they are rarely going under list price if they're priced right originally. But if you aren't in one of the hottest areas listed above, or your home needs some updates before going on the market, it would be best to hold off until the spring if your situation allows. In the spring, interest rates are currently projected to begin their decline, and all of those buyers who are waiting on the sidelines will likely jump into the market at once, creating a very seller-friendly market. This will drive prices up through multiple offers and typically lead to less negotiation with repairs and appraisals. If anyone wants to discuss their specific situation with me, please don't hesitate to reach out. Everyone's situation is unique in its own way, and we would love to help you navigate this ever-changing market. I'm Allison Warnerowski, and thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video.